Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
Balihari Gure Apne Dyohari Sadwar जिन मानस ते देवते किए करत न लागी वार जे सो चंदा उग वह सूरज चढ़े हजार एते चानन होंदिया गुर बिन घोर अंधार गुर बिन घोर अंधार। सासंग रल मिल के फतेह बुलाने जी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। So Satsang Ji, Marat Kirpa Naal, we've gone through most of the Sikh Rehat Maryada. So we're going to finish off the last bit, which is basically the last chapter and also the last section. Section 6, chapter 13, Tera. So it's nice to finish off with that one. And this one is all about the Khalsa Panth. Now, in this Sikh Rehat Maryada, when it goes to chapter 6, chapter 13, what it talks about is what is Panthic life. At the beginning of the document, right at the very beginning, what it said is a Sikh life has two meanings, the personal part and the Panthic part. So every one of us has to think Panthically, but it leaves the Panthic part till the very end. It talks first about the personal part. When it comes to Panthic, the first thing it says in there, what does Panthic mean? What is a Panth? Before we can even decide what is Panthic life, we have to understand what is a Panth. So it says, ki, what is the Panth? The Panth is the Guru. Guru Khalsa Panth, we say, hai na? So it says straight off that the Khalsa Panth is Guru's own form. Now at the end of Ardas, we say the Dohira, Agya Pai Akaal ki, Tabe Chalayo Panth, Sab Sikhan ko Hukam hai, Guru Maneo Granth. We say then, Guru Granth Ji Maneo, Paragat Guran ki Dehe, Jo Prabh ko mil poch hai, Khoj Shabad Mele. This second dohira is written by Gyani Gyan Singh. It was written in Amrit at the time when the Murtiyan were inside Harmandir Sahib. Gyani Gyan Singh wrote this. But Gyani Gyan Singh is paraphrasing something from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said something to Bhai Prahlad Singh in their Rehatnama, and Gyani Gyan Singh took that and basically rhymed to the same dohira something different. What the original dohira from Bhai Prahlad Singh Rehatnama was, is Guru Khalsa Maniye, Pargat Guru ki Dehe. Guru Khalsa Maniye, Pargat Guru ki Dehe, Jo Mujhko Milbo Chahe, Khoj Ine Mele. Guru Gobind Singh Ji saying, obviously no one else, no Sikh would have the dream of saying Mujh apart from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, right? So Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Jo mujhko milbe chahe, khoj ina mele. Except the Guru Khalsa as the physical body of the Guru. So Dasa Pashahin di Jot is Tan Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and Dasa Pashahin di Dehe is Guru Khalsa Panth. So the body is there and the soul is there. So the body is a Khalsa. And this Khalsa, if you want to find Guruji, Maharaj saying, if you want to find me, look in the Khalsa. When the Singhs used to meet some Mahapurukhs, they would say, my Guru is real. Baba Nand Singh, they said it's become almost like Guru Nanak. That's the level they reached. We think about Sant Jarnail Singh, people were reminded of Dasam Pasha when they saw him. That's how much power they had. I heard a story today about that. Once Sant Jarnail Singh even just told a person who was an alcoholic, just said Vaheguru Bol. And that person went home. He goes, from my body, that day, when he just said to me, Vaheguru Bol, I hated alcohol. This is an alcoholic. One word, ik bachan. He just stopped drinking, went home and said to his wife, let's get ready for Amrit. This is the bachan of a Mahapurukh. They become the form of the Guru. Gurbani says, Gursik andar Satguru Varta. So the Khalsa is the Guru's own form. And it will go through this. So the first part is, in this is the Panth as the Guru, that Seva is not just about doing Seva in the Langar. Seva is about responsibility to the Panth. That means that the Sikh's whole life basically is about Seva. Simran is our main, what sustains us, and what we do is seva. And the collective effort is much more effective. It's true, isn't it? One person does a little bit, two people come together to do more, but when you got five, you can do a lot. In fact, if there's 5 Khalsa, you can actually make Amrit and create Khalsa. So this is what it means, that collective effort is very important, as Sikh has to play their part in the Panthic collective efforts. You can't just say that some leher is going on and you say, nothing to do with me. I just want to go to Gurdwara and do matha take and listen to Kirtan. That's not what a Sikh does. When there's a movement, when there's a morcha, we must get involved. It's our duty to the Panth, because together we can do much more than one person. So the Sikh must perform their duty in collective effort, and the collective body is the Panth, and the Guru Panth is the Sarbat Khalsa, the whole of it together. And all 10 Gurus, they say, made this, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave it the Guruship. So this is what it states there. It then goes into Amrit Sanchar. Amrit Sanchar ki, how do you become part of the Guru Khalsa Panth? So it says there that Amrit Sanchar has to be done somewhere quiet. It can't be done right now in the main hall, people coming in and out. Somewhere out of the main thing. And you need Guru Granth Sahib Ji, you need Panch Pyare, and you need one more person to do the Tabiyadi Seva. You need someone to be in Hazuri of Maharaj whole time doing their Seva. So you need 6 Pyare. And it says clearly, this is a question a lot of people have, point B is, that they can include women. Any of the 6 people we talked about could be women as well. Okay? So people have that question mark quite a lot. And there are some other Jathes that have a different view. But when we came together, we agreed upon this. Okay? And then it says, is a Panch Pyare cannot be somebody physically disabled. Okay? They can't be somebody who's missing a leg. They can't be somebody who's blind, somebody who's very ill. So they have to be physically, full there. And also, there can't be somebody who is done a karet, one of the Bajr karets, and then come back. It's okay, they're forgiven, but they can't come back into Panch Pyare. And it can't be somebody who's not living up to the ret. So they need to be somebody who's actually living the Khalsa Panthi ret. So committed, baptized Sikhs, and basically is manne hoye Sikh, hai na? Now, it then goes on to say that any man or woman of any background who desires to follow this path can take Amrit. So we can't just say to somebody, you're low caste, you're not allowed to have Amrit. Yeah? Anybody is welcome to take Amrit as long as they believe in this path. They can't be very young. They have to be able to think for themselves. On the morning, they have to do Keshi Shnan, can't be the Panch Kakars, or in the Gurdwara they provide them, but Keshi Shnan is very important. And you can't have any tokens of another faith. Let's say you like Christ, but you had a necklace around your neck, or you can't wear that crucifix when taking Amrit. At that moment, you belong to Guruji only, nothing else. You can't have your head bare or wear a topi, no piercings, and you have to stand with your hands folded. It talks about pesh. People know what pesh means. Pesh is when you've basically made a mistake as a Sikh. You can come there at that time and you can say, I made a mistake. Yeah? And the Panth is able to give you punishment. So it says that anybody who comes for pesh has to be highlighted. So they stand up first. Okay? And the punishment is given. The punishment is given in front of the whole congregation. We don't have to hide anything. If somebody's made a mistake, the whole Panth gets together to punish that person. And no one should be scared about the punishment part as well. Because if we don't police ourselves, who's going to police us? We haven't got an external body. The Khalsa Panth is supreme and sovereign. So we have to police ourselves. No one else can police us. We are the Panth. When this big panga happened in south of Gurdwara and they had 20 odd policemen standing there, that's why I said to the Sangat then, so I said, look, if you can't keep the peace and you're Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Roop, you're expecting these policemen who were in the Vardi of the Queen to police us instead. They got more sense to keep calm than the people that look like Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And that's not right. The Khalsa Panth is sovereign. No one can police us. So we need to police ourselves. Yeah? We need to be prepared to punish people who are within our Panth who make a mistake. If someone is made a kuret, they need to come to the front and apologize for that and take the punishment of the Panth. So then it says, look, the Panch Pyare should explain the rules of Sikhi. Firstly, we can't worship anything which is created. Thapya na jaye, kita na hoye. He can't be created, he's self-created. Saipang. We only worship the one Karta Purakh. And how do we do that? Through Gurbani and following Gurbani. All of Guru's Bani. Dasa Pasha in the Bani. It's already said what Gurbani is in this. Okay? And how do we do that? By being part of the Sangat, by doing seva of the Panth and all the people, and with love for God's name. For Preet, for Harinam. Yeah? if you haven't got preet for naam, if you haven't got love for God's name, then when you're sitting Waheguru, your mind is everywhere else. When you're looking at somebody you love them, you're there, you're present. When you're looking at somebody who you don't even know who they are, you got no love for them, you're just saying their name, you don't know who they are. So we have to try to do this. Connect. Live within the Rehat. And if they say, yeah, I accept all of this, yeah, this is what a Sikh is, then they can come forward. So then the Panch Pyares do Ardas for the start of the Amrit Sanchar, and they take a hukm now from Maharaj after the Ardas to say, Maharaj, han agya do for us to start the Amrit Sanchar. After that, Sarablo Batta, which is clean, with the clean support, is brought in. Clean water and potassium put in. Potassium are like sugar. In India, they used to just take sugar, crystals, and they used to have them more like circly bits, and they can carry them in cloth. So potassium brought in as well. The Panch Pyare have to sit in Bir Asan. Bir Asan is a warrior pose. Okay? It means that one of their legs is bent, one of the legs is not bent. Okay? It's up. What it says here is that the left leg is up and you sit on the right leg. Okay? Some do it the other way around. Point being, one leg is up, one leg is down, because you're ready then. You can get up straight away. Okay? So what they do is they sit this way, they have the batta in front of them, all the Panch Pyare hold the edge of the bow, okay? And they have to read the Panch Amrit Diya Baniya. And each one reads one. That's Japji Sahib, Jap Sahib, which we're going to go through next. Okay? Svaiye, Pashahi Dasmi, which comes from Akaal Ustad. Then Benti Chope, and the full Anand Sahib. The Panch Pyare have to stir the bow with the khanda. They pass it around. The key thing is they have to look at the pani. They're not allowed to look anywhere else. Now, if you're not allowed to look anywhere else, you have to have the bani kant. Because Amrit Drishti, if you're looking at a gutka and you've got the khanda going over here, you're looking at the gutka now, you're not looking at the batta. So the kirpa drishti, because later on they're going to put Amrit in the eyes. And kirpa always comes from eyes. Nanak nadri nadar nihal. So the kirpa of the Panch Pyare is going into that batta right now. The bani they're reading is going into the batta as well. That's what's going to make it into Amrit. Amrit Bani har har teri sun sun hove param gat meri. This is Amrit Bani, and you make it by looking at that. So there must be Kant. That's what we're going to go into Jap Sahib. Jap Sahib is one of the best tests Maharaj made. It's very hard to get it memorized. Yeah, Maharaj has made this test for us. Okay, after the Amrit is made, with the Panch Bani are done, each of the Panch Pyare reads one. And then only those people that were present for the whole ceremony can take Amrit. You can't walk in halfway and say, can I join? No, you missed it. Come next time. Okay? Okay, then it says, those that want Amrit, they again sit in Bir Asan then. They sit down in front of the Panch Pyare in Bir Asan. They have their right hand cupped in their left, and they drink Amrit 5 times. 5 times they drink it. And obviously the Panch Pyare are pouring it into your hand. So they take it and they drop it into your hand. You're drinking it. Then the Pyara who is pouring the Amrit, he says, Bol, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And the person who's taking Amrit has to repeat it back. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So this happens 5 times. So 10 times is said together. The Pyara says it, the person who's taking Amrit says it, and then back and forth. And then, next time, there's 5 handfuls that go into the eyes. Again, Bol, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh, and then they say it back. And then after that, it goes into your Dasam Dua 10 times. So you can't wear this kind of damala on the day, yeah? You're going to have to wear this style pug when you can just pull it aside. Otherwise, we'll have to come all off. So if you're going to take Amrit, be aware of that. Don't turn up with a massive bunga, because you're going to have it coming off. If it's tied into your case, you're going to be there for a while. It's very easy just to turn up with a Punjabi style pug. Then they're going to do it this way. And then what they will say is, after the 5 into the mouth, 5 times in the eyes, 5 into the Dasam Dwar, then whatever Amrit is left over, there's normally quite a bit, yeah, is passed around the whole Sangha. They all have to drink it together. One person drinks it, other person drinks it, other person drinks it. The reason this is done is to break the caste. Food was one of the key ways we used to, but people tried to discriminate against each other. Yeah, I can't take your food. So the Amrita is now told you're part of one family. You prove it by drinking the Amrit from the same batta. There's a history about this. The Hill Rajas, they were prepared to take Amrit. They came to Maharaj, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They said, Maharaj, we will take Amrit. Just one thing, make a separate one for us. We'll share it amongst ourselves. We don't want to share it with those low caste people. Guru Gobind Singh said, it's not for you. Maharaj even says in Bani, in Garib Sikhon ko diyu Pashahi. I'll make these poor Sikhs into kings, not for the rich. Then what happens next? Then they will say Vaheguru, and as the Guru Mantra, they will say, this is the Guru Mantra now given to you by your Guru. You become the Guru Panth. The mantra you will jap is Vaheguru, Guru Mantra. And then they will do the Mool Mantra as well. Or some people say Maha Mantra up to Guru Prasad. They will chant it together. And then the Panch Pyare will explain the Rehat to you as well, there and then. What they will say is, okay, now you're born into the Guru's house. You're born into Guru Gobind Singh's own house. This is the end of your reincarnation cycle. You're not going to get reborn again. So Amrit means Mukti. It's very clear in all the Granths, if you've taken Amrit and you live this life from now on, you will get Mukti at the end. It's a promise from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. But you have to live it. You can't just say, oh, okay, take Amrit and then toss about with it. Yeah? It doesn't work that way. Karna pena. You are born into Guru Gobind Singh Ji's house. You're part of the Khalsa Panth. From now on, your father is Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Your mother is Mata Sahib Kaur. Then they will say, now you are born at Keskar Sahib. You're not born from anywhere else. You're born at Keskar Sahib. Why Keskar Sahib? Because that's where the first Amrit Sanchar took place. The Panch Pyare, they were beheaded there. Guru Gobind Singh Ji created Amrit Sanchar there at Keskar Sahib. So that becomes your physical spot of birth. And your Jilla, your Pind, your district, that becomes Anandpur Sahib. So you're Anandpur Vasi. The next thing they'll say is that the Khalsa is your family now. You have no more link to any previous caste or your beliefs or any profession. Some people, they were like, somebody who was a cotton grower, they would always just grow cotton. Some person who was a leather tanner, they would always just tan leather. So this no longer applies to you. You're now a Singh or a Kaur. And it says you have to worship nothing but Akaal Purukh. And the 10 Gurus and all of their Bani is the only thing you will look to for Mukti. Okay? It's not the case that now a Sikh will read Jap Sahib, but he goes, Jap Sahib is Mukti nahi milni. I have to do Japji Sahib. It doesn't work that way. All the Bani of all the 10 Gurus is able to give you Mukti. Okay? Even one bachan from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, yeah, can give a Sikh Mukti. They're that powerful. So what's the whole of the Bani? Then what they will say is, you have to learn Gurmukhi and you have to read Gurmukhi. So a lot of people that take Amrit and they doss about not reading Gurbani, that's going against the bachan. They have to learn Gurmukhi. Okay? It's Guru's words. Guru set it up. If I tell my son, he writes it some other funky way, I say, no, Guruji designed it this way. Write it this way, learn it this way. Okay, so we're going to start making the videos. I'm sorry for us being a bit slow about this, but there will be a series on the YouTube channel about how to learn Gurmukhi very quickly. Okay, then they will say this. Okay, from now on, you must do these things, which we talked about already. You must in the morning learn or read or listen to Japji Sahib, Jap Sahib, and the 10 Svaiye. Yeah, Svaiye Pashahi Dasvi. And then you must in the evening listen to Soda Rera Sahib and Kirtan Soila. We already discussed at the beginning what that consists of. It definitely consists of Benti Chaupai by Pashahi Dasvi. And then it will say you have to keep your Saj part going. You must try every day to listen to some Bani separate from your Nitnem. Okay? If you can do Saj part, that's good. And have your 5Ks on at all times. Even when you're in the shower, you have to have your Kripan or some Shastra on you, and you have to have your Kishar on you. You can't just like say, oh, take it off for now. It's on you all the time. The Bajr Kurets, these are the bits that get you instantly disqualified from being Amritari. Yeah? You cannot dishonor the hair. Beadabi karni, which basically means cutting, but you can also, some people take that to mean that you shouldn't be dyeing as well. You shouldn't be dyeing your hair. You should not have any form of halal meat. Okay? Kutha. Any halal meat is absolutely forbidden for a Sikh. You know these shops that have halal on there? Don't go in there and eat any meat. Okay? Then it will say, you can't have any sexual relationships outside of marriage. Okay? And you can never use any tobacco. Some people have said this, they mean other intoxicants as well. But main one is tobacco. Smoking is a complete no-no for a Sikh. The story of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's horse even refused to go into a field of tobacco. And in those days, in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Bani, they call this Jagat Chut. The biggest lie of the world is tobacco. Then they will say, okay, if you do these, you will have to get rebaptized. Your Amrit is pang, you've broken it. If you unknowingly or unintentionally break these rules, then there's no punishment. Okay? If somebody came up to you and cut your hair, that doesn't mean you have to take Amrit again. Okay? You didn't do it intentionally. You obviously have to take your badla, but your Amrit is still there because it wasn't intentional. Okay? Then it says, actually, it's interesting, don't hang out with a Sikh who had their hair but cut it. So if you walk away from this path, then we shouldn't hang out with you. That's what it says. Okay? And that comes out of Bani is okay, patit. Don't hang out with a Sikh who uses tobacco. So if any of your relatives say they take Amrit, they smoke or whatever, we shouldn't be hanging out with them. We should be talking to them. And it's basically done as a social way to say, you don't need to do this. This is the stuff that gets you get kicked out the family. You know, if in our family we have rules as well. If you start breaking those rules, they'll say, no, we're not going to talk to you anymore until you sort yourself out. So that's the rules of this family, yeah? This is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's family, that's their rules. And if you break, okay, so then it says, you must be tiyar bar tiyar to do seva of the Panth and the Gurdwara. So if someone says, come on, we've got to do something, you can't say, oh, hold on, give me 1 year, I'll be back. Yeah? It doesn't, tiyar bar tiyar means ready upon ready to do seva. When there's something needed, get on with it. Don't wait around. It then says, you must all the time act in Gurmat, and you must give 10% of your earnings to the Khalsa Panth, to the Guru, 10%. Guru's Golak is also those poor people on the streets, yeah, as Guru's Golak. But 10% of your earnings must go as a donation. You can't keep them for yourself. If you keep them for yourself, effectively you're stealing from Guru. I make that very clear. You are not giving what you have to give. In this country, if you don't pay your tax, taxmen will come and find you. Jada tax nahi pay karta na, unnu dar honda haega, hope they don't catch me. The thing is, they might not know the taxman, but Guru Gobind Singh Ji knows. Oh, antarjami hege. They know if you're giving a daswand or not. So this is their rules. Daswand is all the way been the rules. Don't break this rule, Sasangaji. Or do a benti to you. As your brother, don't break this rule. Yeah? This is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's hukam. We have to follow this rule. Then it says, any punishment, if you break these rules, you must come in front of Sangat and beg for forgiveness, and the punishment may get given, and you have to be careful not to do it again. Accept the punishment what you get given by the Sangat. Nowadays, this rule is kind of, it should be there, in the Rehat Maryada should be there, but most people, they don't come in front of Sangat and talk, because we don't know each other. We have these massive, impersonal Gurdwara, big old halls. If you look at Harmandir Sahib, it's a small Gurdwara. Look at any of the Takth, it's a small Gurdwara. It builds a family environment. Now what we do is make as big as we can, stuff as many people in there as we can. Yeah, that's against the old traditions, because you don't get that family environment. No one wants to stand up in front of 2,000 people and talk about. No one's really interested as well. 2,000 people, they're all interested in something else. One person stands up. How many people are you going to get standing up? It needs to be a small environment. Okay, then it says, anyone doing these things we just talked about gets boycotted. They become a tankhaya. These are the things that you can't do, which will mean you're boycotted. You can't keep friends with people that are anti-Panth. I mean, Masande, Tir Maliya, Ram Rai. Now, for example, right now you got that Gurmat Ram Rahim, other people that are not following Guru as Guru. They got somebody else as their Guru. But that person who's their Guru reads that Gurbani. Yeah? That's basically the postman came to your house, read the letter from your beloved, and pretended to be the beloved. He's not the beloved. The letter is from the beloved. It's not from the postman. That's Chutha. Yeah? Nakli Guru. So we can't hang out with these people that follow the Nakli Guru. And we can't associate with people that are smokers. Okay? So imagine how important smoking is, yeah? Can't do it. Or people that smoke. And the second thing it says is, anybody who kills a daughter. If anybody kills their daughter because they want to have, like, say, for example, they want to have boy childs only, that person is instantly shunned. Don't talk to that person, Maharaj is saying, ever again. They're out. You can't eat the leftover food of anybody who is not Amritari or Tankhaya. Okay? Then it says, you can't dye your beard. You can't arrange your child's marriage for any money. You can't use any drugs like cannabis, opium, alcohol, narcotics or cocaine. Okay? Drugs for the sake of drugs. Drugs for the sake of nasha. If you've got a cough and you need a cough medicine, then you're having cough medicine, it's not really breaking your rehat, yeah? You're doing it for the medicine. But if you're doing it for the nasha, and you're addicted to cough medicine, and you justify, got a bad cough, it doesn't work, yeah? Maharaj antarjami na sab kuch pata hai. So, then it says, You can't be holding any ceremonies or be part of any ceremony that is anti-Gurmat, and you can't really be hanging out with anybody who doesn't maintain Sikh discipline. Somebody who is taking Amrit but basically just doesn't bother doing any of it, don't hang out with them. What it's saying is, have Saad Sangat. Hang out with serious, committed Sikhs. It's good for you. Like we talked about at the reception, hang out with the people that are following Guru. Yeah? So we hang out together and we'll learn more. Then after this rehat is given to the people, then a final ardas is done. Okay? Say, Maharaj, khushiyan waste, that we've done the Amrit Sanchar now, bless us. And the sixth pyara who is at the front, they should then read out the hukamnama to the Sangat. And the first letter of this hukamnama is what gives the name for all those people that have now come to take Amrit, who didn't get their name from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Some of us was given when we were children, then our parents took us to Gurdwara, and like we talked about, they took the Akkar from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But some parents, right, they didn't bother doing that. Okay? Also, if you're not from Punjabi background, it's very likely that your name, that your Akkar didn't come from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So you need to rename yourself. Just like Bhai Lehna became Angad when they became Guru and they became part of that Sikh, then the Guru Sahib gives you a new name. Okay? And the Akkar is the one you should use there. And then what happens next is very interesting. Kada Prashad is brought onto a big plate and everybody eats the Kada Prashad from the same plate. Again, breaking that taboo about caste. Okay? Caste is very, very outside of Sikhi. Then they would tell you, okay, look, how do you confess your sins? Say, for example, yeah? They'll tell you, if you do something wrong, this is how to solve that problem. This is how to get tankha. Now, the word tankha is a funny word, yeah? It actually means payment, salary. So if you do something wrong, then you got to pay tankha. You got to pay the price for that, basically. And this is what the Panth will give you. They'll give you a salary, something you got to do. And there's a Guru Gobind Singh Ji's written with Bhai Nanlal. They've written Tankha Nama. You can read that as well. It talks about all tankha that a Sikh cannot do. Tankha Nama by Bhai Nanlal. So it says, if you break the rehat, go to the Sangat and confess your lapse standing up in front of everybody. So somebody walked in now and they says, Sah Sangat Ji, I have something to share. I done this wrong. Okay? Then what will happen? It's amazing, isn't it, if you think about it? None of this stuff happens anymore, huh? But this is the way it should happen. This is how the Panth polices themselves. Okay? So they come forward and they say, look, I've done this wrong. The Sangat then should pick Panch Pyare, okay, to decide the punishment. Not everybody decides the punishment. It's not like 2,000 people get to decide. Panch Pyare decide the punishment, and the Sangat should be forgiving, and the person who's made the mistake should accept the punishment. See, isn't it nice? Sangat should forgive and give some kind of punishment, and the Sikh shouldn't argue about it. Just accept the punishment and get on with it. At the end of this, when they've got the punishment, they should do ardas, ki Maharaj sanu hon pulla ho gaya giya, theek karo. Tusi sanu sod karo, sort us out, and make this mistake again. And then it says that there is a need sometimes for the Panth to come together for a Gurmata, to decision that is done as a Panth. What it says is, the Gurmata is not for every single little thing. It's not like tomorrow morning you want to have dal, and you don't want to have dal, you have chane, you do a Gurmata. The Gurmata is a very important institution. It should only be used for stuff that is very important and not just for random things. So what it says here, if the fundamentals of Sikhi, i.e. the status of the Guru or Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Amrit or Rehat, or the structure of the Panth needs to be decided. Like for example, if we're going to make a new Takth, let's say England decided we're going to make a new Takth, yeah? And then America decided we're going to build a new Takht. Because that's how decisions are made next to a Takht. Then we need one in this country. We need one. So we get together to decide those kinds of real important issues. The Gurmata can only be done by everybody coming together. The Khalsa Panth, or all the highest groups in the Panth come together to decide something. Ordinary issues about education, political issues, only the Panch Pyare from the local Gurdwara can decide that. So unfortunately, we don't have Panch Pyare running our Gurdwara anymore. But that's how it used to be. The Panch Pyare would run the Gurdwara. If something needed to happen, anybody could approach the Panch Pyare, and then they would decide what happens next. There wasn't this committees and 21 people coming together to decide. It was always Panch Pyare. And those Panch Pyare were the Panch Pyare. They made Amrit. They could actually live that life. They weren't like people who turned up once a week or once a month and you never saw them otherwise, which happens in a lot of Gurdwara nowadays. They were the people that could lead the Amrit Sanchar. They were the people that had the Panch Baniya Kant. So actually, we should be led by those kinds of Khalsi. Okay? And we should have those expectations from the people that put themselves forward as our leaders. Do you have your Panjbani account? Do you have the Rehat of a Khalsa? Have you taken Amrit? If you haven't, why are you at the front? You need to be sitting back and training up. You're still in training. You're not the person who's being qualified and ticked off. But this is the state we are in right now. We know where our Panth is right now. We've gone through this Rehat Maryada. We've seen how many mistakes we make as a Panth. The whole issue of the Akhand parts that happen all over the place without anybody listening to them. The whole issue of the various different groups we split into. All it comes down to is we haven't got the right leadership. And what it says here is the Panch Pyare should be leading the Panth and the Gurdwara locally. If you haven't got a Panch Pyare in Gurdwara, then maybe you should defer to a Panch Pyare in a bigger city near you and listen to them and take their advice. Okay? You don't need one in every Gurdwara, because how much needs to change? Most Gurdwara run exactly the same way. Morning, Simran, Nitnem, Asadivar, nothing complicated, it's all been given in here. So, Sasangaji, that concludes the Katha of the Rehat Maryada. I'm sure I made loads of mistakes in that. It's all in English, it's available online, sgpc.net, you can download it. I would suggest that you keep a copy in your house, because whenever you have disagreements, this should be our common base of agreement. It's not made to change your Maryada. Your own Maryada might be doing more than Panjbaniya, more than in a day. You might be more to do 15, 20, 30. That's your Maryada. When we come together as a Panth, they spent 15, 20, 30 years to make this document. We should respect it and read it and try to understand it as well. So, Pulazuk Dikhiyan Bakshi ji, Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh.
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.